Social media was once hailed as one of the greatest tools ever created to connect people around the world. When Facebook first opened to the public in 2006, it promised to bring friends and family closer. Twitter gave everyone a platform to speak their minds. Instagram let us share our lives visually. Platforms like YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, and others soon followed, creating what we now know as the age of connection. And in many ways, these tools really did change how we connect. You can talk to someone halfway across the world instantly. You can join online communities about interests you have. You can find lost relatives, stay in touch with old classmates, or meet people you never would have met in real life. Families divided by geography can stay close. People in small towns can find others who think like them. And when major events happen, the world experiences them together in real time. Social media allowed people to rally, to mourn, to celebrate, and to spread messages further than ever before. But as the years have gone on, the question has gotten more complicated. Because for all the ways social media brings us together, there are just as many ways it seems to be driving us apart. One of the first major concerns raised was about mental health. People began to notice that spending hours scrolling didn't necessarily make them feel more connected. Instead, it often left them to feel anxious, alone, or like they were missing out. The term FOMO, fear of missing out, became part of everyday vocabulary. Studies began to show a link between excessive social media use and rising rates of depression and anxiety, especially in teenagers and young adults. People were constantly comparing themselves to others online, not realizing that what they were seeing was often carefully curated content, not real life. Everyone was just posting their best moments, their highlights, their filtered vacations, not the hard days or the boring parts. This created a warped sense of reality. People started to feel like their own lives didn't measure up. And in chasing likes and attention, some began to value digital validation over real connection. But beyond mental health, there's also the issue of how we actually communicate. In theory, we're more in touch than ever. We can send a message instantly, FaceTime anyone at any time, or post a story to share with everyone we know. But in practice, a lot of this communication is shallow. We like posts, we leave comments, we send quick snaps or memes, but we're not always having meaningful conversations. Some experts call this ambient intimacy. We feel like we're close to someone because we see their updates, but we're not actually engaging with them. We know what they ate, where they went, or what show they're watching, but we haven't talked to them in months. It gives the illusion of connection without the depth. Algorithms often show us content we already agree with, reinforcing our own beliefs and isolating us from other perspectives. Instead of healthy debates, online conversations can quickly become toxic. People can hide behind screens and say things that they never would have said face to face. Cyberbullying has become a major issue, especially among teens. But even outside of extreme cases, social media has reshaped how we form relationships. Dating apps have made it easier than ever to meet someone new, but they've also changed how we approach romance. Some people feel overwhelmed by the endless options and the swipe culture. Friendships, too, have shifted. We now follow people we barely know, keep up with acquaintances we haven't spoken to in years, and sometimes value the quantity of followers over the quality of real friends. For younger generations, growing up with social media as a constant presence can be especially tricky. It's how they socialize, how they express themselves, but it also creates pressure to always be on, always be perfect, always be seen. Some schools have reported that students are so addicted to social media that it's affecting their attention spans, their sleep, and their ability to engage in real-world conversations. But it's not all negative. Social media has also done incredible things. It's allowed marginalized voices to be heard. People have used social media to raise money for causes, to reunite families, to shine a light on injustice, and to build communities where they feel safe and understood. For many people, social media has helped them find their people. Whether it's fans of a niche TV show, people living with the same illness, or activists working toward the same cause, online spaces have given them a voice. And during the pandemic, when physical distance was enforced, social media was a lifeline. It's how we celebrated birthdays, stayed connected with grandparents, and kept our businesses alive. Teachers taught through classes on live streams. Musicians performed from their homes. People came together in creative ways because of the technology they had in their pockets. So, what's the true answer? Has social media brought us closer together or further apart? The truth is, it's done both. It's connected the world in ways that were impossible just a few decades ago, but it's also changed the way we interact. The impact depends largely on how we use it. Used mindfully, social media can be an amazing tool for staying in touch, learning, sharing, and organizing. Used mindlessly, it can be isolating, exhausting, and even harmful. Tech companies have made billions off of our attention, designing apps that keep us scrolling, liking, and comparing. But we still have choices. We can choose to use social media with intention. We can unfollow accounts that make us feel bad. We can take breaks. We can reach out directly to friends instead of just liking their posts. We can have conversations, not just comments. We can remind ourselves that what we see online is not always real, and we can be more thoughtful about what we post and how we engage. Social media isn't going away. It's part of how we live now. But just like any powerful tool in history, from the printing press to television, it can be used for good or for harm. It all comes down to how we use it and what kind of connections we truly want to build. Social media brings us closer in ways that would have amazed people 100 years ago, but it can also make us feel more distant, more distracted, and more alone than ever. The challenge now is to find the balance, to use it to connect, but not to replace real connection. To remember that behind every profile is a real person, and to make sure that in our constant desire to share, we don't forget how to simply be present. Social media may have changed how we connect, but it hasn't changed what we need. We still need to be seen, to be heard, to feel understood, and to feel close to others. That part hasn't changed. The question is whether we can use the tools we've built to bring out the best in each other instead of just the best versions of ourselves. Like, comment, and subscribe for daily history and culture content.